Each and every year, taxes come due. Each and every year, spring's here, summer's here, fall's here. When fall gets here, we're going to Kansas. Sunflower State has never, ever let me down in 15 years. I know this farm. I know the heartbeat of this farm. And I promise you, we're going to go down there. We're going to get something killed.
Sweet Kansas. This is one of my favorite states to hunt. I've killed my biggest whitetail there, and I look forward to it every time I get the chance to go hunt.
Episode. Eric and Jason are heading out this year. I don't get to go, and these guys know this farm. They know what's on it, and I know they're going to get it done.
It's really cool because we knew, based off the bucks we've been letting go of the last 2 years, that once we got a couple of mature deer killed out there like Fishhook, it was going to be exciting to see who was new, who was going to take up in Fishhook's spot.
Typically, Eric, Chris, and myself, we have our cameras out in the summer, so we know what's going on. This year, we kind of fell behind a little bit, but we know this farm so good that we can take cameras and we can put them where they need to be, and literally within 2 or 3 days, we can get pictures of every deer on the farm.
Finally, that time of year, it is like Christmas has come early. It is November 5th. This is a spot where Eric killed last year. We literally just pulled in. We got the brand new scrape fix vine. We're getting ready to go put it up with some scrape fix right over here, and I guarantee you we're gonna get a bunch of pictures. So.
Well, little we know, a buck that Chris actually named Crunk took up in the same hole that Fishhook was living. This year he's 5.5 years old, and that is going to be one of the #1 bucks we're looking for.
We roll in, we pull the cards on the camera, and there is a deer there that we call Crunk. It is a deer that Chris was going to kill last year. He had an encounter, didn't get it done, and that's the deer I'm going to set my sights on this year.
One we call Crunk. He's real high, real narrow. I've got 3 target shooters, and I've seen all 3. I've had all 3 in front of me today. And could not get one single shot, not one.
Chris passed Crunk and was able to kill this big bladed 9-point buck instead.
I am absolutely tickled to death with him. We have had encounters with different shooters today, and this was the first one I got a shot at. And let me tell you something, I'm happy. I am tickled to death, and he's gonna look good on my Virginia wall.
Crunk is a year bigger, and Jason is ripe with anticipation to get an opportunity to take Crunk by bow. Scent Crusher owner Dan Drake also has Kansas grounds, and this past September, he's going to let Watermark Productions' Scott Cornelisi hunt for the biggest deer of his life.
Well, it's night number 2. Got Dan the man behind the camera again. We pulled the cards. Got 2 giants that came in the middle of the night last night. It's supposed to be windy all the time here in Kansas, but no, Toto is safe right now.
This buck shows up right underneath the stand and is about to make Scott's buck of a lifetime dreams come true.
sweating. Oh my God. I gotta get some of these clothes off. Oh my God. Look at this guy. I just shot the biggest buck. All kinds of blood. This thing ate him up, and he can't be far. He's eating up right now. Blood all through down this river edge. Beautiful setting. Oh my gosh. This is unbelievable. Got hung up in this big old tree right here. Big old 9. Kansas giant, baby. This is my bucket list right here. Check it off. My first big buck. Are you kidding me? I mean, just a brute. Oh my goodness.
Make sure you subscribe and like the page. On top of that, make sure you click the little notification bell. That way you'll be one of the first ones to know when a new video drops.
So like always, when we get there, we want to know what we got. You know, it's been months since we've been there to shed hunt. We don't know what deer's there now, what deer may have left, what deer may have died. You never know, so you got to inventory. And there's a post right there at the Stairway to Heaven. Basically, it's an outside corner, it comes off of the food plot, butts up next to the timber between a bean and a wheat field. And every year, I promise you, between 3 and 5 days of running a camera right there, every single mature buck that's living in that 40 acres or close to it will walk by that camera. And sure enough, when we got the first picture of Crunk, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. I mean, Jason's eyes kind of lit up and he was like, man, I want to give that deer a run for his money. And I mean, hey, I got 2 weeks, brother, let's get it.
Every other year I have to sit out on the Kansas lease and it just breaks my heart. It's one of those places that you get to watch the same deer pretty much year after year after year, watch them grow, and you know the deer. We end up naming the deer and we become familiar with them and they get under our skin. And Crunk was one of those deer. I mean, we've known him for years. Like I said, I had an encounter with him last year, couldn't get it done, and he's a 5.5-year-old deer this year. It's time for one of them to lay him down.
First afternoon in, we're going after a deer that we call Crunk, and I know if we sit on the Stairway the next 3 or 4 afternoons, we're gonna get a chance at this deer.
Kansas set, we like to call it Stairway to Heaven. We've got 4 or 5 mature deer on this farm this year. We don't have no, what you would say, giants, but you know what? I like shooting stuff with my bow, so that's just fine with me. We're on this part of the farm hunting a deer we call Crunk. Super cool, a lot of character, tall, massive. That's the deer we're hoping to see.
So we finally got east winds. That's what we need for the Stairway to Heaven. 2 days into this, we are already got some inventory. We got some, most recent information that we need. We know that Crunk's there. We know where he's at. East wind, jump in the stand. I think Jason and I both knew when we sat down that we're probably going to see him, and tonight was the night.
Reached down, taps me on the shoulder, and he says, "You're not going to believe what just happened." And I couldn't see crap because of the trees. I was like, "What?" Crunk stepped out, didn't see any other deer on the food plot, and literally hopped back across the fence and went right back where he came from.
That's a beautiful deer. A giant 3-year-old. If he would have been 4, I would have tried to get him over there. That's what I thought. Look how thin his neck is and his body. Good God, what a 3-year-old. Pretty good evening so far. I guess you could say. We just seen Crunk. The only thing we can figure is he come to the edge of the fence, stepped across, there wasn't anything in the field, no doe, so he went back in, but we just had an absolute superstar 3-year-old. come out and work us great.
As we thought, true to form, Crunk showed up. You know, he came to the fence, stared, did his deal, and then went right back in. And sometimes, you know, matured bucks, they just got that sixth sense. I mean, they, you know, you can have everything right. You can have your entry-exit right, the wind right, all that kind of stuff. But in my personal opinion, I just honestly think he was on a mission to find that first hot doe, and he didn't see what he liked, so he turned and went the other way. But I promise you, man, that's just the first swing at him.
Kansas deer between November 1st through the 13th, 14th, they're really callable. You can grunt them in, you can snort wheeze them in. They react depending on their personality, and the majority of the deer that we've killed on that Kansas farm, we've called them in.
Here he comes. He's coming.
Jason calls in a great big 5 or 6 year old buck that's not Crunk, the deer he's after. Jason's trying to identify what buck this is, but he ends up passing on him.
That's an awesome 5-year-old. That's a deer we've known for several years. He actually may be 6, dude, now that I think about it. Because the year I shot the Chuck, he was small. I think he's 6. He's always been a 9-pointer. But we didn't recognize which deer he was when he stepped out because he's broke one of his tines off. That tine may have just saved his life.
What are you making?
Making chicken Alfredo tonight, but I'm cutting an onion for chili tomorrow night. So I don't know of anything that stinks worse or make me smell worse than a dang onion, but I'm not gonna start with deer camp. I'm not worried. I'm not eating SpaghettiOs and peanut butter and jelly all week. This is why Eric likes me here. Just plugged up this little scent crusher room thing. That way, hopefully, it'll take care of some of this crap.
You haven't set off the smoke detector tonight.
No, I haven't.
Oh. Hey, we're firemen, we can handle it.
Yeah, we'll put it out. No big deal.
Oh, Jason, if you weren't so hairy, I would marry you.
Oh, that could be an issue.
The onion. We don't eat tags.
No, I'll be cutting them a lot more than this onion if it's tagged. That stuff don't taste good.
Shoot. I've ate it one too many times. Ugh. We need you to support us, guys. So go over, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. And every time we post something, you're gonna get that little bell going off and you're gonna know instantly that you can go over and watch it and catch what's going on. Had to wait a couple days. We're still hunting, we're still after it. You know, sure enough, that wind went east again, and as soon as it did, the temperature was right, high pressure afternoon. A lot of our big deer still had not locked. Jason and I both knew without a shadow of a doubt where we needed to go. It was a Stairway.
Third afternoon, after a deer we called Crunk. So he seen him the first night. He came out down here. Third time's a charm, right?
We both knew in our gut that Crunk was going to show up. All Jason had to do was make a shot.
Out of the corner of my eye, I catch movement coming out of the thicket. Guess who it is? Crunk.
Right here's Crunk.
Crunk's out. He's just doing his thing. He's eating. He's working back and forth. He doesn't come out in the wide open where I want him. But the worst thing I can do at this point is panic. I know I've got plenty of time, just staying calm, let him do his thing, and I'm gonna get my shot. So Crunk is hanging out in the corner. He's not gonna come out in the open. He's at like 40, 41 yards, something like that. I've shot that shot thousands of times. I am confident I can make the shot. He is quartering away. He gives me the shot and I take it. When I hit the release, the arrow hits, I'm in disbelief. I don't know what happened. My gut sinks. I'm just sick to my stomach.
Man, he was a budge.
As soon as the shot got done, you know, Jason looks up to me. I mean, I'm excited, and he was almost bewildered.
Dude, that was horrible.
He seemed to me he was extremely aggravated with himself, because when you look at that shot at first, you think, man, that shot's way back. When you look at the angle that the deer was standing, Jason actually hit him correctly. He put that pin right in front of the hip.
Dude, that was horrible. I have no clue what happened.
Went in at that steep of angle. It went in and actually exited. In my opinion, I thought Wad got up in that offside shoulder.
Be one of the worst shots I've ever made on a whitetail.
We said it 100 times. Why go in and push the panic button tonight? He's going to be right there tomorrow morning. So we had to wait.
It was 100% my fault. Fire department back home, we got a little saying. It says, just own it. What that means is if you make a mistake or if you screw up, you be man enough to say, I screwed up. And I'm owning this one because I screwed up. There's no excuse in that shot. It was absolutely horrible.
Go ahead, subscribe to our channel, like it. You're gonna get that little notification bell. It's gonna go off, let you know when something new hits. Follow, subscribe. Happy hunting this fall. We love everybody. Thank you again.
That's a night that any hunter never wants. Very sleepless and restless. Kind of feel like I'm going in for a job interview or something. It's like you're either going to get it or you're not. And the same way I feel about this deer. We're either going to find it or we're not. It sucks. It's all my fault. Nobody's fault but mine. I shot him right here. I'm hoping he's gonna be laying down in here on these hills, these kind of terraces in the woods. If not, I'm gonna say he's circled back around because he spends a lot of time over here. But I'm gonna hope he's right in here, maybe next to that pond. That's a giant. Whoa. I have no clue what deer that is. That's a giant.
It's like a 185 to 190.
That's probably one of the biggest deer that I've ever seen on the hoof. And we were literally just sitting here looking at this Hunt Terra map, trying to figure out where to go in. We've got to be super quiet on this recovery because we now have an absolute giant running around on this farm.
Right there's the truck. I'm on cloud 9. Right there's my deer. He didn't run nowhere. I thought it was a horrible shot, but honestly, the arrow probably, he was cooler and harder than I thought. So I may have got up and I got wounds and everything. He's not 50 yards from where I shot him. Holy crap. Let's get this deer out of here.
He's a pig.
Yeah, he's
awesome.
It's a big deer. He's like a 5.5, 6.5-year-old deer.
Second best bud buck.
Second or third best bud buck. No, it's third best. Third best.
Knew it. We called it after we watched the footage. We literally didn't look 2 minutes. The deer made it 75 yards. It was a perfect shot. That deer was ethically taken down quickly.
All right, Crunk's down. Great job, Brother Jason. I knew you'd get it done, and can't wait to see what I've got to hunt next year.
This typically isn't our style to drag one out. We typically like to enjoy it in the woods, but right before we went in to track this deer, we literally seen a world-class deer. I mean, probably like a 190. But with all the deer running around, Eric's still hunting, we wanted to get him out as quiet as we could. This deer didn't run, God, 50, 60 yards and he piled up. So we tried to get him out as quick as we could, bring him out here so you can see him. I'm not gonna make any excuses. The shot was bad. It was, I thought it was horrible. It wasn't actually horrible. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was. He was quartering away so hard. I got plenty of penetration, got up in the lungs and everything, but I am absolutely tickled to death to put my Kansas tag on a deer that we call Crunk. He's probably a big 5.5, 6.5-year-old. We know he's 5 for sure. We've got years of truck camera pictures of him, and I am as happy as can be right now.
Great kill, great buck. 5.5-year-old Crunk is done. Same place that he killed Fish Hook. I mean, they'll hang on the wall side by side. And as I've always said, man, Kansas never disappoints. The deer are there, everything's there, the people are there. You just got to make it happen.